Hello, test. All right. Hey, how you doing out there? This is KXVS, community radio station here out in Stockton, California. This is the Yellow Dot Spotlight Show, the Friday edition. All right, it's noontime. Hey, we got the cast of You Can't Take It With You. I love this show where we can interview the theater people because improv, right? We'll do some improv today. So we're gonna do some Russian dancing. We're gonna teach some steps. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. So, anyways, here we are at Stockton, California, community radio station KXVS, and what a wonderful place to be. We can share all our arts and forums and all sorts of political stuff, and there's great content all throughout the show. So check it out, kxvs.org. You can catch many shows. We got morning shows, afternoon shows, and evening shows. So, okay, let's get right into the interview. And I know I said the names earlier, but I'm just going to let you guys do it. So we got Judy, Martin, and Isreal today. And we're with the cast of with the Stockton Civic Theater. You Can't Take It With You. And so Martin and I, we're kind of good friends here now. We go way back, all the way back to the Addams Family. What a great show that was, man. Great props and stuff. And so we'll get back to this show, and let's see. Let's start with the first hard question is, this is an old play from the 30s, and you guys are bringing it back. And so is there any modern stuff that might come up with this play? And then we'll talk about the play, what it's about. So any modern twist to this play that is Grandpa is living at home, and then he has all these misfit characters that are kind of coming and going. And we can start with Isreal, then we'll go around the table.
Sure, yeah. I don't know if there's anything new and contemporary about what we're doing in our production. I think one of the goals is that we wanted to be very authentic to the time period in which it was written, so much so that I was a vivid, I guess you could say, I would ad-lib a lot of my lines and kind of make it a little bit easier for me to say some of my lines, just because I don't talk the way that they did in the 1930s. And the director corrected me several times, so we're trying to be very true and authentic to the story and the time period in which it's written, although there are messages that are very applicable to modern times.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And it is an award-winning play, which is very exciting to re-bring up and bring to the modern times and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And so, Martin, what is your role as we come up? And we'll talk about everybody's roles and what the story is about.
Sure. I play Mr. Kolenkov, who is a Russian ballet instructor who has moved to the United States from Russia after the revolution happened. He fled before communism took over. And has a great distaste for communists in general, which is kind of ironic considering the message of this show, which is very kind of anti-consumerism. Find the thing that makes you happy and just do that, and everyone should be treated equally and be given the same the same allowances that everybody else gets. So I think it's funny that my character finds a comfortable place in this house, which kind of extols the values of the ideal communist society, I guess. Everybody living together equally.
Nice. And Judy, your character?
My character is the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. I, too, came from Russia, and I have lost all my wealth and power, but I am still considered the Grand Duchess. So far as I agree with Martin on the values that are brought forth in this play, and I think even the political aspects and talking about taxes and the government, et cetera, is always prevalent in every society, every era. So
right, that's always current.
It's
no matter
always
what time
current.
Of era that we're from.
Right. But speaking about the goals and dreams of the individual is also very pointed in this, and that's something everybody needs to hear also.
Nice. And Isreal, your character?
I play Tony Kirby, which is kind of the love interest of the leading lady, Alice Sycamore, and the two of them meet. She works at the company where Tony is a vice president.
And that's the Kirby company, the actual vacuum cleaner?
No, it's not. I don't know exactly.
It's never actually said. We don't know.
Yeah, sure.
We'll take it.
The two of them fall in love, and basically I need to be introduced to her family, and so I'm just kind of thrown into the mix of the family and get a good taste of it on the first night that I'm there to pick her up, and then it's trying to figure out how my family is going to mix with her family because I come from a very wealthy, straight-laced family who prim and proper in every sense of the word. And her family is the exact opposite. They are free-loving,
Wow. So
changing what you're pursuing, what you're doing every second of the play. And so it's trying to bring the two families together. It's a lot of fun.
In everybody's opinions, it kind of sounds like a Romeo and Juliet meets All in the Family.
Oh.
All the different characters coming around. But anyways,
Yeah.
but,
not so much death, but
right,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the season of taxes, and the show is coming along at the same time, and along with first thing that pops in my head is All in the Family that did a lot of issues that was current of their time. Mm-hmm. Prevalent to the 30s. I'm sure they brought up a lot of things of their time, immigrants coming over and people trying to be equal, which that's what America is about. And so, with a lot of values, is there anything that you guys are putting into the play yourself that I know you can put a little bit of your own influence into it, but with some of the topics that are coming up with this show, is there anything that you guys kind of focus on a little more? I know there's a lot of subjects that are coming up with that, like your own interpretation.
I would say for my character, the toughest it's been because Tony goes through somewhat of a change throughout the play in terms of he changes his own values, and for me, I bring the idea of you're always changing your values or you're always evolving as a person and kind of finding a resolution with who you are, and so I bring kind of that influence from my own life of accepting that. You're going to go through changes, and as challenges and issues come up, and as you begin to question yourself, kind of landing and accepting, where you end up.
Mm-hmm. Kind of what happens around you, what you kind of do with it, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. I hadn't mentally prepared an answer.
I know the tough ones out the way.
I do. I bring my ballet skills
That's right.
to this.
Instruction, right.
A deep knowledge of ballet from many years of watching my sister perform in the Nutcracker.
Nice, right. See, it all pays off.
Which was by a Russian composer, so I guess so. It all comes back together. But no, I think that the thing that I take from this is that this family is so accepting of everybody despite where they're from. My character is from Russia, and they just let him into their house like he's one of them. When the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina comes over, they treat her just like anybody else who would be stopping by the house. It's Mr. Kirby who's kind of, what? Who is this here? The Grand Duchess? He's kind of awestruck, but the family's just, whatever. She's another person.
Right, somebody else.
Yeah,
bring them on in.
Exactly. So that's something that I think is so great about this show is that everybody should be treated equal. It doesn't matter whether you're really rich or you're really poor. You have a place to come, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and it's also not only just for the outsiders of the family, meaning the people that are not immediately connected to the family, guests and visitors that come in, but everyone that's in the household as well. A constant theme is supporting what the other person is pursuing and what they're changing. Even if it changes from 1 minute to the next, right. It's still about being there for each other, supporting each other no matter what you're pursuing. In whatever the case may be,
That's caller number 10 calling in. We take all calls anytime. Come on, call into the show. We'll answer any questions.
Give Judy a call. We'll put you on the air.
Of course.
So I love that about this family as well, is that they're not only supportive of people outside, but internally as well. They support and love each other.
They do.
Regardless. So, Alice is kind of breaking the mold in terms of she's choosing to work outside the home, which none of the other family members do.
Right, kind of the normal one, I guess, in the whole story. Because they're kind of eccentric people. When you read the play...
Normal to who, though?
Right, exactly.
Normal to people inside or outside of the home, yeah. So, according to society, she should be, working outside the home or pursuing a career.
Yeah.
And maybe not so much in the 1930s, but she breaks her family's mold in choosing to work outside and pursue a career. And the family is accepting of it. And even though it's not something that any of them have chosen to do, some of them have done the exact opposite of that and choosing to leave a career and just pursue things that they love, even though they don't make money off of it. They still choose to support her and are excited for her and everything that she's able to do outside of the home. Mm-hmm. So it's a great theme.
Nice. A good support system in any area of your life is always cool. And this is kind of cool that we can see that. Even though everybody's a little bit different, but you can still support each other in the mainstream of what's happening in life.
Even if they're terrible at what they're doing, they still want
even
to
if they're terrible.
keep doing it, pursue it.
It's their passion. So
that's exactly right.
Yep, and that's something that my character is aware of, and I think that he embraces. That his ballet student is not very good. She stinks, as he says, but he comes and he teaches her because it's something she loves to do. And I don't see it as, he's just trying to get a paycheck. He wants to encourage her. And
he gets free food.
He does get free food. They always invite him over for dinner.
I'm not certain he gets paid.
No, I don't think he gets paid at all. He gets paid in cornflakes.
That's right.
But he appreciates that because it is so different from what you think of as the typical Russian. You have to be good. Everything must be so strict. And no, he escaped that, and this is a new life, and it's exciting for him.
Nice. That's awesome. And so with the family dynamics and everybody that is coming in, the grandpa he doesn't pay his taxes, and he has a scheme. And I won't ruin it for the folks, the punchline. But so how eccentric are these characters? I mean, are they just doing little tinkering stuff, or because I know they're just a little odd. But that makes the comedy, though. I mean, I'm sure the interaction with everybody.
Well, it makes it very chaotic on stage, first of all. I mean, people are moving constantly.
But entertaining.
But it's very entertaining, yeah. So much so that we sometimes, very early on in the rehearsal process, we would lose track of I'm supposed to be talking to Kolokov. Where are you right now? Because 2 seconds you're over there, now you're over there, because things are always changing, and it's a very exciting show in that way.
One of the tricky things about the script is that a script is always written, this is your line, this is the next line, this is the next line, this is the next line, but so much of it is supposed to be said on top of each other. So everyone, 6 people may have a line at the exact same time, and there's just chaos going on at all times, but it's tricky for our director to try to get out, okay, well, these are the important lines, this is what the audience needs to hear, the rest of you can just be, just mumbling, talking about something under your breath, but we need to focus on the important things. But so much of that is a family that's comfortable and familiar with each other, just talking over each other. That's how families work. When you have dinner with your family, everybody's talking at the same time. Right. And so that's the kind of feel that we're trying to create with this show is a family that's been together their entire lives and just has so much to talk about. And but as a play, that doesn't always work. And so I think Rob is doing a great job. Rob Solis is the director of really listening and making sure that the important things are what's coming through, and that's what takes a lot of rehearsal.
Yeah. Right.
Amazing dynamics. I mean, that's just intricate. From some of the different plays, this one sounds a little more intricate because of a lot of the vocals and a lot of the people that are dynamic in this one. So I can't wait to see this one too. This is amazing.
And this, of course, was an original 3-act play, and today's modern audiences are not really very accepting of 3 acts. So we have split it in 2, and the director has selected, I think, a key point that will make the audience say, what am I coming back to? What's going to happen? Yeah. And that's the key to making it work.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice. Get all the capture the highlights of the best parts, I suppose, of a lot of the plays of that show. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So nice. So real quick, we'll do a plug for this. And so it looks like it starts on January 17th and it runs till to February 14th. But real quick, can we? What would be some of the sites?
February 4th. Sorry.
Yes.
February 4th. Did I say something?
Unless we sell really well.
It's Friday. I know my brain almost took a break there. So we've got Rob Salas as director, and so it's a Pulitzer Prize winning award. So real quick, it looks like they can go to the sctlivetheater.com to purchase your tickets and everything like that. And,
or call the box office.
Call the box office, definitely. So the opening night is January 19th. Now, is there any rituals anybody does for opening nights? I mean,
we have a celebration.
Celebration, right?
We have food. We have champagne. Not the actors.
For the audience.
Not the actors.
I'm there.
Angelina's, I think, is catering.
Angelina's
our opening night. So it's included with your ticket. If you come opening night, you get munchies catered by Angelina's. You get
not
champagne.
A full meal.
No, well, if you eat a lot of munchies, it could be a full meal, I guess. Yeah.
One of each.
Yeah, one of each, exactly. But as far as us as actors, like traditions, what do we do?
Yeah.
I don't know. We focus a lot. You got to get your makeup on, getting in the costume, and I always like to find a couple of minutes of downtime before I go on stage to kind of just collect my thoughts and really just focus on what's coming up and, you know, shed the outside world and get into the world of Kolenkov. But I don't have any actual, you know, I don't throw salt over my shoulder or spin around
like that,
6
right?
times or anything like that. But it's just focus mostly. Yeah.
One of the biggest things really is the transition from seeing yourself, you know, you're in your makeup chair and world, and kind of painting on the character and putting on the clothes of the character is one of the biggest things that really transitions you from who you are into who you are going to be portraying on stage.
Definitely my character is different.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Different looking.
I don't know, you're SCT royalty to us.
Oh, that's true.
Judy has been at SCT for a very long
Judy
time.
Caruso
long
Williamson.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, the first time we did You Can't Take It With You in the old theater, I played opposite Tony's character. I was Alice.
Oh, you are? I did not know that.
Yes, yes. So,
We have a couple people actually in this production who have been involved in it.
Do you want to tell that story, Judy?
You can tell yours
yes.
if you want to.
They make fun of me, but we were having the first read-through of the play, and in walks a student that I had many years ago. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I'm playing the same part you cast me in high school." And that's Mike Peterson. And I said, "You're Mr. Kirby?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, that just shows it was good casting." You know, so it's really fun to be on stage with him, though.
And
With everybody.
the actor Sean Carrington, who is playing
Donald.
Donald.
His first show at SCT was Donald, and so
You
here
Can't
were
Take It With You.
several.
Not in that production. It was the newer production.
Right. Yes. It was like in the '90s, I think,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
And he's reprising his role as Donald. So.
Wow, amazing! Because that circle comes back around.
Well, it's
right?
one of those
So-
classic plays that just, I mean, it's timeless, and I mean,
know.
so many productions have been done, and so it's.
And the characters are all entertaining.
Absolutely.
I mean, there isn't one that you wouldn't want to know more about.
Yeah.
You know, down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
What is Essie doing?
Yeah,
How
we've
is
had
it
many
printing?
conversations about
Yeah.
that. You know, how did Essie end up here? How did the person? And so we kind of create these backstories that are not in the story, in the script, but it's fun to kind of imagine how they got to where they are now.
Essie makes candy. Essie sees candy.
Oh,
That's what she did.
that could be.
Yeah, there you
That
go.
could
Yeah.
be. And you know, the funny thing about my character is they have her in America being a waitress at this point in time. And when I looked up the character in real life, the lady never was in America.
Oh.
Yes, she was in Canada, but not in the United
Close.
States.
But was she a waitress
Close.
in Canada?
Yeah, I don't think so. She was, I think, in her 60s when she went to Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but very interesting.
Yeah.
And she was a nice lady, and I'm a nice lady.
Well, yeah, it works out.
Yeah.
So I would one of my questions might be is the writings from the 30s to modern times. I would imagine they didn't have very much television. If they did, I can't think.
No.
No television. All right. Sorry, everybody. So, anyways, so I'd imagine maybe more slapstick, if not slapstick, but more engaging performances. And so maybe that's one of the reasons why this play is so interactive with a lot of the players compared to maybe more modern times where people are used to watching TV. And it, not to say TV's bad, but you kind of might lose that interaction that you really got to entertain people from way back then to now. So is that kind of a challenge a little bit?
Well, the focus, I think, in the 30s was more on the language and the words that people were saying, whereas because radio was the popular medium, whereas now it's quick cut TVs, fast paced, and a joke every other minute, and so this show there's a big segment at the end of the show where Grandpa basically delivers the moral of the story, and it goes on for a while, and our grandpa delivers it brilliantly, of course, so nobody is going to be bored, but that's the kind of thing we miss in a lot of modern movies and TV is the actual language and getting to the root of things using words rather than just visuals. Our set is a static set. It's a beautiful house, basically, that Brian Johnson has built. And
Amazing.
And we have a table and a typewriter and a couple of props here and there, but it's about the words and it's about the characters rather than any big show. Nobody flies.
Right. But it's more substance. I mean, you really got to be focused in and tuned in.
Exactly.
Which is really awesome. I mean, I think there should be more of that, where people can just, take more time and seeing what these writers of a while ago to maybe bring that back a little bit, slow things down.
So we've concentrated a lot on the message of what each character is saying. So we had to make very deliberate choices, acting wise, and the way that we say the lines to each other, to the audience, to the room. So we've had to become very aware of what actually is what we're actually saying to each other, and listening much more rather than just the action that's happening on stage, but really connecting on it. Which, I mean, it should happen all the time, but so much so for this show, because it is so word heavy, and the words matter deeply in this show.
And it's interesting too, because it is a guest director, and so he knew none of us to begin with. But I think over this process and him getting to know how we move and so forth and react to his direction, I think it's really taken hold on everybody, I think.
Nice, and these are the kind of memories that last forever. And then on to the next show, and then you just kind of store all this spiritual energy stuff, in you, especially with new people. I mean, that can be amazing collaboration when you meet somebody new. I mean, when it flows like that, that's just part of a nice crew to have and work with.
And we even have a few new actors in the show who haven't done anything at SCT before, but were familiar with the show and came out and wanted to be a part of it.
Oh, exciting. So, and I think Sarah, is she involved with this show also? Yeah, I got to meet her last time with Mamma Mia, and she got to let me sing with her. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, man, that was so cool. So maybe not this time, but maybe next time we'll brush up on some Russian techniques. You and I, Martin.
Yes, definitely.
We can do some Russian techniques and some instructions.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there may be some singing in this show too. So.
Nice. No, that'd be
there
cool.
may be.
There may be. Well, you have to buy a ticket to hear that.
Right. So for a short time, Martin's giving Russian dance lessons.
Yep.
Very short. So call him soon. So real quick, let's talk individually about yourselves and. What you do acting and from here to there. And Judy, we'll start with you.
Okay, I act here and there and direct here and there. And so I work with Community Theater of Linden as well as Stockton Civic Theater. And I'm also the drama director at Brookside Elementary. So we are currently auditioning for Little Mermaid Junior. And there are 81 children who want to be in this show, and they are going to be in this show. So that is going to be a challenge. But it's amazing the talent that you find in these children, especially in the programs when so many schools are not offering any of the arts. And I won't get started on that because I was a teacher for 40 years, and I love the arts, and they should be in everybody's education. Yeah. Yes. So I just look forward to being in anything I can. When you get to this stage of your life, it's always nice that there's a part available and somebody would like you to do it. So that's my background.
Oh, how exciting. Gosh. Definitely a pleasure to meet you today, and I'm sure you're part of Stockton's history and everything, and I'm gonna dig and find out about you.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you win the first Willie Award or something?
Yeah.
The first Willie Award? No, I don't think so.
Something like that.
No. In fact, they didn't have them for many years.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So I'm Martin. I also act here and there and direct here and there. I work at University of the Pacific. I also participate in the opera productions there with the Pacific Opera Theater. Not in the Hansel and Gretel Stockton Opera, but I did Die Fledermaus, the last opera that they did there. So usually I do singing, musical theater, but this is the first non-musical that I've done at SCT. So I was really happy to get involved in that and do something that doesn't require a ton of dancing and singing. After the last show, I needed a little bit of a break from that after the Addams Family. Judy and I are both board members at Stockton Civic Theater, and that's pretty new for me. It's only been a couple of months, but it's really exciting to be a part of
nice.
A company with such a great legacy, and we hope to build a great future for it.
And he's a new groom also.
Oh, yes. I just got married in November.
Hey,
actually, today's my 2-month anniversary.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, happy 2 months. That's me. Next thing I'm doing is the opera at Pacific, the Beggars Opera, which will be in April.
Oh, cool. We'll keep in tune with that one, too.
Yeah.
How fun.
And I'm the relative new guy on the block at SET. The first production that I was involved, I've been a patron at SET since Footloose, which is like 2001, 2002, something like that. And the first show that I was involved with was Mary Poppins. I was a part of the fly crew, so we were the ones in charge of doing all the flying effects for the show. So, the Bert flipping around, all that kind of stuff, and Mary flying. It was my first time doing a show here at SCT, and then I crewed for a few after that. And my first show on stage at Stockton Civic Theater was as an ensemble member in Mamma Mia. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun. I was more kicked on stage than anything because of the directors, James and Sarah. And so then I've loved this particular show since I first read the script when I was studying technical theater back in 2001. And so when I saw that they were doing this show, I knew I had to audition, and I'm happy to be playing the role of Tony Kirby. I had done theater on stage at Delta when I was studying technical theater, and then I took a break for 15, 16 something years, wow. 14, something like that, and then I rejoined with this, and my next project is actually I'm going to be stage managing Midsummers at Showbiz. Yeah, that we're going to start production mid-February. So I'm moving kind of from Mamma Mia to You Can't Take It With You into Midsummers. So
wow, that's a nice run. I mean, that's back to back almost about. And that's the Showbiz right here around the corner.
Showbiz right around the corner.
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
Good people.
Yeah.
And so cool, man. It's awesome. So real quick, we'll plug in the show again. It's You Can't Take It With You at the SCT Theater. Whew, tongue twister. And so that show is running from January 17th to February 4th, 2018. And so, gosh, there's always performances there. It's always exciting to see the shows there. I mean, it's such a gem that we have here in Stockton, all the productions and then the actors and everything. So I'm really excited that this one's got like some substance and some good bantering and the characters. That's what's going to be exciting, reading this play and stuff like that. I just can't wait to see what you guys do with it and then the interpretations with that stuff and everything.
It's a fascinating world, the Vanderhoff household. It's very fascinating. There's a wonderful band of kind of core characters that basically live on stage, and then they fill the rest of the world in with these new characters that are fresh and exciting. Every single act has new people that you're being introduced to, but are really, really pushing the story forward. So it's wonderful to see, especially the Vanderhoff family interact so much on stage. It's great. Yeah.
That's cool. It is. Just thinking about the story and stuff like that. It's really cool writing. It's a little bit different writing style than some of the modern stuff. That's why I keep going back to the 30s. I mean, they really had to push more with their writing style and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, one of the oddest thing I think that we realize is how much we say each other's names. I think in one scene, Alice and Tony, it's just them for the majority of the scene, and they say each other's names so many times, or they say darling so many times, and that's just not what we do in modern times. Every time I look to Judy to say something to Judy, I'm not saying Judy, and then the next time she says something and I say Judy again. The language has been not difficult, but we had to become very aware of the way that they spoke and trying to be, like I said earlier, trying to be true to that as much as possible. Yeah.
You practice that out in public, like you go into the store and stuff. You kind of practice. People be like, "What era is this guy from?" Right? But it's kind of fun though. Once in a while, to get into character like that. So, gosh, this is amazing. I cannot wait. February 14th. Anything else you guys would like to add to what's happening here?
No, just come out and see it. I think you will enjoy it.
Yeah, come out and see it. It's really got a great message. Find something you love to do, and do it if it makes you happy.
Right.
As long as you have a grandpa that lets you live with him for free.
Right.
And I don't think Grandpa really has a scheme about the taxes. But later on, I think it comes to him, it could be.
Yeah, I think he just fell into his lap, and he kind of like, there's an opportunity here.
Right.
To be fair to Grandpa, I don't think he was aware that he was supposed to be paying these.
Yeah,
and then when he's confronted, he wants to know, well, why do I have to pay taxes?
That's right.
And what are you going to do with my money if I give it to you?
An interesting historical point in the show where the tax man comes and he says, "Yeah, you've owed taxes since 1920, or something like that.
14
14.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he says
something
the
like
date, and I didn't know that there wasn't an income tax up until that point. When I read that, I was like, oh, I guess that's when the income tax started.
That's when they started.
So, they throw that in there because, Grandpa lived most of his life
Without it.
without
He
it.
was
so
like, what is this
yeah,
new
exactly.
thing coming
So,
on? What the heck?
Right.
but yeah.
Well, I like what you said. Grandpa is asking, well, what do you want to do with my money?
Yeah.
What are we
We're
doing
still
with
asking
this?
that to this day.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm giving
that's
you
a
all my
long
money. You're
question.
giving all this money to you. What do you?
We've got
what are
all
you
these
doing with
potholes
it?
all over town.
Right, my car is still
Where
drinking.
do you
Yeah,
go?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting political. Let's
Yeah.
not get
Oh, yeah, sorry. Battleships. That's what the money
Yeah,
goes towards. Yeah.
battleships.
Well, all right. How exciting. Well, I'd like to thank Ava Simpson real quick. She's always bringing in the theater cast here. And what a wonderful thing she's doing and stuff like
She's
that,
wonderful.
hanging out.
She is.
I know.
She's
She's
great.
awesome. Hey, Ava.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Well, I guess that kind of wraps up a lot of it in there, and stuff like that. I appreciate you coming in. So everybody, please go see the show. It's a wonderful cast and always a good production at the SCT TV radio theater. There we go. Right, SCT theater. So. All right. Well, thanks for coming by today, and
you.
Thanks for
we'll
having
us.
get out a
Thanks.
little early for
Thanks.
lunch.
All
My
right.
stomach's going gurgle, gurgle. I'm like,
Yeah.
uh-oh. Right. So.
Good thing the mics don't pick that up.
All right. Well, thanks. This was the Yellow Dot Spotlight Show Friday edition, and check it out. You Can't Take It With You. All right. Theater production there, January 17th, February 4th. Okay. Let me see if we can sign this out here. And, oops. Here's my engineer. So anyways, hey, thanks KXVS. This is awesome. They kind of redid this little station here, and it's so awesome. I
Very
really love
high-tech.
it. Everything's organized, and thanks, Don. So anyways, okay, there we go. I found a song. I'm going to fade out. Thanks.